What's going on, everybody? The time has come to do an all new Let's Talk About, and this is a series that I'm really excited to talk about with you all. This is something that I am personally a person who suffers from this. I have had and have dealt with insomnia for I don't even know how long, and just in general, I have a really difficult time falling asleep sometimes, and more often than not, I'm up all night just trying, to get that little bit of sleep that, affords it, that avails itself to me, whenever I'm fortunate enough that it does, peak its head. And like everybody in my family can sleep, for hours on end without any issue. But for me, if I sleep more than like 5 hours, I consider myself extremely lucky. This is a manga about people that have a similar affliction where they, for the most part, just cannot sleep. And while reading this story, I felt such a connection to these characters that I really wanted to talk about this. This was actually going to be in my currently reading video that I did for summer, which came out last week or like 2 weeks ago. I don't even know how long ago it came out at this point, but but yeah, this was supposed to be in that video, but I felt such a connection to it that I wanted to do it separately. So I wanted to do a let's talk about it. So let's do it. This is Insomniacs After School. Insomniacs After School by Makoto Ojiro is a story that hooked me right from the beginning. Before even reading it, I already knew I wanted to check this story out based on the title alone. I've talked about this before in other videos, but I sleep terribly and spend more hours awake than I do in the land of dreams. Anytime I'm met with a story about people who don't sleep or can't sleep, I feel an immediate attraction to that story. Watching these characters yawn constantly and still not get any sleep hit pretty damn close to home for me. Your body wants to rest, you want to lay down, and then nothing. Your mind immediately kicks into high gear, and everything you've ever done or ever will do comes flooding in, and it washes the sleep you were supposed to get away. If you met someone with the same affliction, do you think it would cancel out the insomnia, or would you now be two people who can't sleep? I can't speak to it as I've never been romantically involved with someone who can't sleep. It's always been the exact opposite, with my romantic partner sleeping well into midday while I'm wide awake by morning. Insomniacs After School features two characters who cannot sleep well at all, and instead decide to use their inability to rest to be up all night doing restless things. I kinda loved the dynamic between these two youths. Ganta Nakami is kind of a serious dude, and Isaki Magari is sort of outgoing girl. They're polar opposites on the outside, but they each share a secret. Neither of them can sleep, as both suffer from a pretty severe case of insomnia. Ganta and Isaki share an observatory as their place to get rest, with the spot being originally Isaki's, but Ganta stumbles upon it while looking for somewhere to rest. The two soon realize the reason for each other's wanting to utilize the space. They decide to share it, while sectioning off parts of it where Ganta will set up camp and where Isaki will. It doesn't last long before their space is found out, and it forces them to turn it into a club room. That shouldn't surprise anyone, as it is something you can see coming from a mile away. I loved Isaki as a character and the way Makoto Ojiro draws her. You can tell this mangaka loves detailing her characters. Isaki is well drawn, and she is super energetic and cheerful, despite her inability to get any rest, while Ganta is the exact opposite of her. He's like a dour old man in a teenager's body. No one in his class really likes him, and he's constantly the butt of jokes. Maybe if the poor man could actually get some shut-eye, he wouldn't be such a curmudgeon. To me, Ganta fits the bill more of someone with insomnia, where you're just super irritable because of lack of sleep. Or after a while, you just get used to it and start to function on less rest than the rest of the world. There is something freeing about being awake while everyone else is asleep. Being awake in the middle of the night, or even going grocery shopping at 3 a.m., it feels like another world is opened up to you, like you've unlocked a secret door. I was one of these people for a long time, before returning to working a day job, existing at night, and sleeping during the day. I would be reading manga at 4 a.m., listening to music, and just minding my own business while the people in my house slept. It was great to watch these kids discover the wonderful world of walking around outside after hours, and the way it felt for them is 100% the way it felt for me at their age. Sometimes a story connects on a much deeper level than you can even imagine, and Insomniacs After School was definitely one of those stories. I've worked in two situations in my life where I worked, for the most part, like a kind of a graveyard shift. There was one job where I would work, for the most part, a straight up graveyard shift and would get out like three something in the morning, almost 4 in the morning, and then I would just stay up till like 6 in the morning, and then I didn't have to be back at work until 4. So I kind of liked that. I liked being able to be up all night, and I'd mentioned this before. I think when I was talking about I talked about what was it? Call of the Night. I think I talked about Call of the Night in a video. I don't remember if it was currently reading video, or if it was or if it was my Hey, have you read video. I'm going to be doing a part two for Hey, have you read at some point. I just haven't gotten the manga together for it yet. Like, I'm a person that I've felt like kinship with the nighttime and being up all night, and now I have a job where I'm pretty much awake during the day, and I've gotten kind of back to that cycle of being up during the day. But for the most part, like, I wake up and I'm wide awake by like 5 in the morning. So it's like I'm, in a sense, still a part of that life where I'm waking up when everybody's still asleep for the most part, unless like you're somebody that works early in the morning, then you're getting up at about the same time. And I love stories that revolve around being an insomniac. Like, one of my favorite films is one that stars Nicolas Cage. Patricia Arquette is also in it, and pretty much like Nicolas Cage in it. He's an EMT, I think, and he works the night shift. And Patricia Arquette is like his girlfriend or something. But I watched that film and like I felt a kinship with it, because of the fact that like I don't really sleep much, and he's a person in that film that really doesn't sleep, and he's going all night. And he just keeps going and going and going, and he's like burned out, but he just doesn't take a break, doesn't recharge his batteries or whatever. And I feel like that, what I mean, like that's me as a person incarnate, where I'm just like going 24/7, and like I always feel burned out. And I'm gonna put a meme right there that I got from Instagram, and that's pretty much me, dude. Like, as a person, where like I'm just go 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 go. Like, as soon as I finish writing one of my YouTube videos, I'm already on to the next project that I have going on. And I'm like a really restless sort of a person, and I love things that for me, evoke a restlessness, because it makes me feel like I'm not the only person who feels that way. And there's this movie, I forgot what it was called. I think it was called like My Dinner with Andre or something. And that also kind of like gives me that feeling of like restlessness, of like you had this one life to live, and you had this chance to live it to the fullest. And for me, like, I don't know that I'm living my life to the fullest, but I am living it to my own desire, I guess, if you will. Like, my own, I'm getting what I want out of it, in a sense. And I don't know, I just felt like this is gonna become something like that, where like these kids are just hanging out in the middle of the night. And I used to love doing that sort of stuff, just like going out in the middle of the night, with my friends when I was a teenager, and just being kids, doing reckless stuff, and having fun, after hours in the dark. It just felt so unique, you know what I mean? Like, it just felt like the whole world's asleep and we're out here, up to shenanigans. And I don't know, dude. Like, I always feel like a kinship, with these sorts of things. Like I said, like bringing out the dead, and and this story right here, and God, there's another one. There's like a plethora of TV shows and films and whatnot that are like that. Insomniac, with David Tell was pretty much that. Him being up all night, just going to bars till like 3, 4 in the morning and hanging out with random people that came out at night. Like the freaks come out at night and whatnot. And that's just, I feel a kinship with that. I feel like a spiritual bond, with people that don't sleep. I always feel, an attachment, and I always feel a connection to, things that explore that, and that make you feel like you're not the only one. And yeah, like that's kind of like my favorite sort of a story. And as soon as before I even knew what this was about, just based on the title, just based on Insomniacs After School, I was like, yeah, that's for me. So I don't want to like make this a super duper long video. I just wanted to, knock it out to talk about that story. The first volume's out. I think the second volume's out in like this month in June. We're in June right now. I think the next volume's out this month, or maybe next month in July. I'm not really sure, but regardless of when that drops, I just wanted to say thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope that you were doing well. I hope that everything is going well in your life, and yeah, please stick around. Sub to the channel. I got so much stuff going. There's always like a million things going on in this channel, and I have no intention of stopping anytime soon. I gotta feed my insomnia. Just kidding. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. Please take care of yourselves.
By the hands of God, I stand as a wrench between your wheeling cog. Fastening my belt, bracing myself to withstand against all odds. Himself shadow runners, battle ready, murder dogs. Rip the skin off your horses, triumph to smash the sorceress. Lethal forces, the failure of your ambitions is more painful than divorces. Smash its own piece on the doorway, when the door hits, that's it. Call it quits, zipped up in plastic, cremated, melted like elastic. Dreams don't mean shit, in this life they don't exist.